So tonight, one of our esteemed thinkers, who is, as he always tells, actually a trained mathematician, but also a known novelist. So he has done many ways of exploring the world. And I will not say anything about what he might talk about tonight, because I always get disappointed. If I say he speaks about hate, he will say, no, I speak about love, Wolfgang. So I'm in big trouble. So please welcome Alain Badiou.
I think it's very important that everybody have this very mysterious paper. At the end of the lecture, this paper will be clear for everybody. So my lecture is something like only a clarification of this paper, but all is in the paper, in fact, but in a hidden form. So my title can be What is Love? First possibility, or The Arena of the Two. Second possibility. We can start with a statement, a famous statement of Lacan. I quote, "Love comes to compensate for the lack of a sexual connection." Love comes to compensate for the lack of a sexual connection. So love is not a connection, a relation, a rapport in the field of sexuality. Love is a supplement, which is just at the point where a sexual connection is missing. So our problem is composed of three terms: connection, which inexists; lack, which is the constatation of this inexistence of sexual connection; and supplement, which properly is love. Naturally, you can have the preliminary question, but what is finally this famous Lacanian inexistence of the sexual connection? I take a metaphor for a very small answer to this question. Suppose the world is composed of natural numbers only. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Suppose we name connection of the two numbers, the division of the first by the second. For example, we take for connection the symbol you have at the beginning of the paper, okay? We can say the connection between 4 and 2 is, by definition, the division of 4 by 2, and so is 2. It's not, for the moment, too difficult mathematical. So you can see that in this particular case, the connection exists because the result is also a natural number. And so the result is in the world, if the world is composed of exclusively natural numbers. But very often it's not the case. For example, the connection of 7 and 3 is the division of 7 by 3, but the division of 7 by 3 is not, as you can understand, a natural number. So, from the point of view of the world, the connection between 7 and 3 does not exist. So we can say something like that. In the world of the name of the world, in the world of desire, in the world of sexuation, in the world of sexual existence, and so on, there is no sexual connection in this sense. That is, the connection between two terms is not a term of the world which is considered. We can say something like that, maybe a connection of two desires is not a desire. That is the first point concerning the axiom of Lacan, the sexual inexistence of a connection. We can first stipulate that if the sexual connection inexists by an effect of structure, like that sort of inexistence, love as a supplement cannot exist in the same structure. So love as a supplement to the lack of sexual connection can only come to be by chance. So we have an opposition between sexual structure and the chance of love. So the sexual belongs to the order of being, or nature, and love belongs to the order of the event. Lacan says that in his own way when he writes that love is an approach or a boarding. I quote Lacan, "It is love that comes to board being in the encounter." It is love that comes to board being in the encounter. The encounter is effectively the name for the randomness of love, for its invental dimension. And it's at random that the supplement of the lack of connection is initiated. Of course, the encounter between two sexual positions is guided, oriented by the obscure object of desire that each member of a couple find in the other. But love, as love, goes directly to the complete individual, who as a total being mysteriously supports the object of desire. This difference between an object as a cause for the desire and a being, a complete being, as a polarity of love, is the difference between, on one side, the impossibility of sexual connection, and, on the other side, the possibility of a love construction. The second is the supplement of the first. With respect to sexual difference, which is essentially disjunctive, love, in subsuming the object as the being of the individual, love is boarding of being, constructs what I name a sort of arena for a presentation in which the non-connection is effected as a count, the count for